Hello YouTube, we're back again in this beautiful place with the Lancer X. So today, the reason for this visit to this beautiful place, I will be talking about my K&N intake, doing a quick review, a few pointers, and how it's been so far, at least my experience with it. So this is the entire system minus the pool styrofoam, those styrofoam sticks that they sell for for use in the pool. Pretty much a toy, so to speak. So it replaces your rubber hose, which they tend to squeeze, I guess, under a certain amount of boost pressure. So they replaced the top one, and that's about it. The bottom one, they say it's okay as far as the piping. It doesn't tend to collapse while it's under boost. The coupler is pretty much the same one that the stock OEM one is. I like this one better. It feels more firmer, so I ended up just cutting it and putting it here. Of course, I got a different OEM one and did that because I don't want to be messing with my OEM stuff in case I got to put it back. But it goes straight to the turbo. I put the more heavier clamps on there, and I put more clamps there. I bought this system used. There's a carbon fiber tip on it. So yeah, I bought this system used. So I don't know if those are the clamps that K&N supplies for this intake, but I just made it happen and I don't have any problems with it. So my thoughts on this intake is it's good quality, to say the least. I ended up putting this here because there's a big gap right there, and it's just heat soaking it the whole time. So I put that just to kind of counteract the heat soak. It's just hooked up to this cable that's here, this thick piece. I think that's the ECU. I mean, it doesn't drag on the ECU badly, so I just place it there. It's pretty light, so I mean, if there was some kind of drag on it, it would have happened already. It would have pulled itself off. So for the most part, I think we're doing okay with that. That's just one of my minor modifications I did to it, just to have some more peace of mind. I haven't noticed a difference with the cob access port, how it tells you the intake temperatures, but yeah. So one thing I did notice with this intake right away was it is a little faster than OEM. Granted, people say the OEM box is already enough for what you're running here, but I actually do feel it a little faster, and it saves gas at the same time. I noticed that once I ditched the OEM box and put this thing on there, that I was getting pretty close to 30 miles on the highway, and it's very noticeable, because at first this car seems like it wastes gas like pretty fast, for a 4-cylinder. But after I got the intake, I at least got like 3 to 4 more miles to the gallon, and I could just feel it. So just for that purpose alone, I do recommend this intake. I know it's only good for around 400-ish to 450-ish horsepower, and then you have to upgrade to something bigger. But I mean, I don't have that many mods on this, just a catback exhaust, and that's it. as far as, performance wise, and it works well. I think it pretty much paid for itself already because it saves me gas. I mean, there's no complaints there. That's a big upside. Reliability is there. Doesn't throw a check engine light. You can hear your actual blow off now, and it just makes the whole driving experience a lot better. Like, you can hear the turbo. It's more, it sounds awesome. Like, if you have the stock box on, you're really muffling that sound, and when you put this intake on, it just really brings it to life. I've had other K&N intakes, like on my Mazda Speed 3, which I did posted a video about that one. And with that one, when I would turn it on, it would actually hiss when I was warming the car up. And with this one, it doesn't. I don't know if it's just because the way the turbo is routed, the way it's set up. I don't know. But it doesn't hiss when you're warming it up. But I'm just, trying to compare the two. I've had nothing but great experience with K&N. As far as reliability, it doesn't burn oil, because when you slap on cheap intakes, which not a lot of people do on Evos, but on Civics, they just fucking burn oil. Like on my 8th gen Civic, I have a K&N and it doesn't burn oil. If you were to put some cheap brand on there, like AutoZone shit, it's gonna burn oil. Even on an old GSR, like a 99, it's gonna burn oil more than it should. So if you guys are planning on getting the intake, this is pretty much it. It's the upper intercooler pipe, like I said, but this is different. It comes with a different coupler. That one back there is different as well. This one I had to custom make that. It's two different sizes right there, so it's like a bigger size. It's a bigger size up here than a smaller one down there, which I had to make it myself. And it won't look like that. It'll look a lot better, and you won't have this. And it comes with a heat shield. And yeah, that's pretty much it. If you guys have any questions, like always, feel free to reach out to me. I'll try to get back to you guys, as soon as I see it. Just get you guys a close up. The thing I like about the Evo X setup here, how the turbo's in the back, is that your intake manifold is here. That's your intake manifold there, your throttle body, and it's out of the way of the turbo. Whereas the new Civic Type R has the intake manifold here, and then the turbo is like right there. So the pipe that goes into the intake manifold is here, and it's just getting heat soaked to hell. Like, it's a good motor. I won't knock it at all. It's just that's why they have heat issues, is because of that. And they open the grill up a little more, but I'm sure you guys know. But I'm just saying, the setup on here, like, I like how it is like this, because you're not heat soaking your motor as much as other turbos, like the Subarus, how they have the intercooler up here and it's just heat soaking. The Mazda Speed 3 is the same thing. It's heat soaking with the intercooler up there. The Civic Type R has the intake piping that goes through here, and the turbo's right underneath, and it's just warming it up the whole time. And they have issues of overheating at the track. I don't know if you guys heard that little pop, but that's guaranteed at Evo X and RB11, I think it is. But yeah, I had to buy this intake used, because they don't sell it in California. So I bought it off a private party on eBay, who ended up sending it to me to California. so I didn't have the whole issue of we cannot ship to California because it's not, you know, it's not a carb exempt intake. So as far as, you know, passing carb and emissions, it's not gonna do that. It looks pretty much stock for the most part. So, I mean, besides that, but that looks like some homemade stuff. But yeah, you'll probably have to get it smogged somewhere. If not, just put the stock stuff back on. You can just get away with the intake. I'm running it with the Cobb, and I was running it stock. And stock, it does feel like it's faster. It pulls, it saves gas. But once you start using the Cobb flashes, the maps, I tried stage 1 and stage 2. I hooked it up to a laptop, and it was telling me that stage 2 is ready to run with a cap back and a high flow filter from Cobb. So I used that map for a while, and I just wasn't liking the way it drove, like as a daily. Like I'm in the freeway and I need passing power and I give it gas, it kind of hesitates. Like it's the tune that's, you know, making it do that. Because off the bat, with the stock tune on this car, the car feels really eager. Like as soon as you tap it, the boost is there and it just kicks in and you move. And you kind of lose that when you stage 2 it and stage 1 it, because I had both of those maps. So I ended up taking it off and I put stage 0 on it, which is pretty much like it's completely stock according to the mods for the access port. It's completely stock intake, stock exhaust, and that feels the best with this intake. Stage 0 with the catback exhaust and the intake, it feels best. You still higher your red line, you still shift at 7,400 or 500. I think it's 7,600. So you're almost at the 8. You're almost at 8K, but yeah, I wouldn't push it that far. It does got a rev limiter still. It'll stop you at 76. I can tell you that is the best way to run this intake with the Cobb, is stick with stage 0. You'll still get some of that eagerness the car has. You know, it still feels a little laggy, like it feels like it's more of a rever afterwards instead of the torque machine, how it is from the dealer. And a lot of people say the dealer, you know, map is shitty, but it feels good in my opinion. Like it might run rich, yeah, but that's probably why it feels like it's always in power, because as soon as you press the gas, it's going, and it's probably because it just dumps a bunch of fuel, and you know, if you feel the torque that it has, it's got more torque than horsepower. So you know, I like that feeling, and the closer to stock that I get with that feeling, like the better. And with stage 0, I feel like I get that feeling still, you know, at least somewhat. You do lose some of it, like 30% of it, but for the most part it's there, and it makes up for it in the high range, and it just lets you take it all the way to the 7, and it's just constant pull. You don't feel like it just falls on its face at 6, from 6,000 RPM to 7, like it just falls on its face. But yeah, it's a good intake, you know. If I do plan on making more than 400, which my goals are 450, like realistically, to the wheel, just because I know this engine takes a little less, like 100 horsepower less than the 4G63s, which I'm alright with that. I mean, I'm not looking for big horsepower numbers and complete drag car. Like this car all around it's excellent. Just the AC, I feel like it can blow a little harder, but I mean, I didn't buy it for a fucking cold ass AC. The way it performs, you forget all about that. But alright guys, me start her up for you. So do a couple revs. I took my cob off because that mounting point right there just blocks my AC. And today it was 100 degrees in SoCal. That was pretty close to 7K. I don't like to rev the car when it's not under load because we all know it's bad for you. It's bad for everything, so but it's pretty quiet when you turn it on. Turn the car off, it's just, you can't hear it. And if you cruise under 3K, it just, you know, it's quiet. I'll give you guys some audio, the way it sounds. With the stock airbox, you can't hear nothing. Now with this thing on, that's how it sounds. That's the end of the video. You guys, if you have any questions, feel free to ask.